In a historic and contentious election, German opposition leader Friedrich Merz's conservative bloc has claimed victory, albeit a lackluster one, while the far-right Alternative for Germany, AfD, achieved its strongest result since World War II. The election, held 7 months earlier than planned, has reshaped Germany's political landscape, signaling a shift in voter sentiment amid widespread discontent, economic stagnation, and growing concerns over migration and national identity. The results have left the nation grappling with the implications of a resurgent far-right and a weakened centre-left, raising questions about the future of German politics and its role in Europe. A bitter victory for Merz's conservatives. Friedrich Merz, leader of the Christian Democratic Union, CDU, and its Bavarian sister party, the Christian Social Union, CSU, declared victory for his Conservative Union bloc, which secured just under 29% of the vote, according to projections. While this result places the Conservatives as the largest party in the Bundestag, it falls short of the decisive mandate many had hoped for. Merz's victory comes after a tumultuous campaign, marked by internal divisions within the outgoing government and a lack of enthusiasm among voters. Merz vowed to move quickly to form a coalition government, emphasizing the urgency of restoring stability and addressing the nation's pressing challenges. The most important thing is to re-establish a viable government in Germany as quickly as possible, he told supporters. The world out there isn't waiting for us, and it isn't waiting for long drawn-out coalition talks and negotiations. However, the path to forming a government remains uncertain. Merz's Conservatives will need to navigate complex negotiations with potential coalition partners, as no single party secured a majority. The Social Democrats, SPD, led by outgoing Chancellor Olaf Scholz, suffered a devastating defeat, finishing in third place with just over 16% of the vote. Their worst result in a national parliamentary election since World War II. Scholz conceded defeat, calling the outcome a bitter election result. The far-right's historic surge, the most striking outcome of the election, was the dramatic rise of the far-right AfD, which nearly doubled its support from the 2021 election, securing approximately 20% of the vote. This marks the strongest showing for a far-right party in Germany's post-war history, underscoring a significant shift in the nation's political dynamics. The AfD's success reflects growing discontent among voters, particularly in eastern Germany, where the party has established a strong foothold. AfD co-leader Alice Weidel declared, "We have become the second strongest force," while her counterpart, Tino Trupala, hailed the result as historic. The party's leaders have positioned themselves as the voice of opposition to mainstream politics, capitalizing on frustrations over migration, economic stagnation, and perceived government inefficiency. Trupala boldly claimed, "We are now the political center and have left the fringes behind us." Despite their gains, the AfD remains isolated from mainstream political parties, all of which have categorically ruled out forming a coalition with the far right. Merz reiterated his refusal to collaborate with the AfD, stating, "I will not accept it and never will." This stance reflects a broader consensus among Germany's political establishment, which views the AfD as a threat to democratic values. A weakened centre-left and fragmented political landscape. The election results revealed a deeply fragmented political landscape, with the centre-left SPD and its coalition partners suffering significant losses. The SPD's dismal performance, securing just over 16% of the vote, represents a dramatic decline from its previous results. Matthias Miersch, the party's general secretary, acknowledged the defeat, stating, This election wasn't lost in the last 8 weeks, suggesting that the party's struggles were rooted in deeper, long-term issues. The Greens, who were part of Scholz's outgoing coalition, fared better than their partners, but still saw a decline in support, securing 12 to 13% of the vote. Vice-Chancellor Robert Habeck, the Greens' candidate for Chancellor, called for moderation and unity in the wake of the election. "We have seen the centre is weakened overall, and everyone should look at themselves and ask whether they didn't contribute to that," he said. Meanwhile, the hard left Party staged a remarkable comeback, winning up to 9% of the vote, while the pro-business Free Democrats and the Sarah Wagenknecht Alliance hovered around the 5% threshold required to enter parliament. The resurgence of smaller parties further complicates the task of forming a stable government, as Merz will need to secure support from multiple partners to achieve a majority. The election took place against a backdrop of widespread discontent and political instability. Scholz's coalition government, which included the SPD, the Greens, and the Free Democrats, collapsed in November amid infighting and plummeting approval ratings. The decision to hold the election 7 months early reflected the government's inability to address the nation's challenges effectively. Voters expressed frustration with the years-long stagnation of Europe's largest economy, rising living costs, and the government's handling of migration. Merz's Conservatives sought to capitalize on these concerns, advocating for a tougher approach to migration and economic reform. However, their message failed to resonate strongly enough to secure a decisive victory. The campaign also unfolded amid growing uncertainty over the future of Ukraine and Europe's alliance with the United States. Germany, as the most populous country in the European Union and a leading member of NATO, plays a central role in shaping the continent's response to these challenges. The election results will have significant implications for Germany's foreign policy, particularly its support for Ukraine and its relationship with the US. Implications for Germany and Europe. The rise of the AfD and the fragmentation of Germany's political landscape have raised concerns about the future of democracy in the country. Joseph Schuster, head of Germany's main Jewish organization, warned, "It must concern us all that a fifth of German voters are giving their vote to a party that is at least partly right-wing extremist, that openly seeks linguistic and ideological links to right-wing radicalism and neo-Nazism." The election results also highlight the challenges facing Europe as a whole. Germany's political instability could weaken its ability to lead on critical issues such as climate change, economic recovery, and security. The prospect of prolonged coalition negotiations and a potentially fragile government further complicates matters. Looking ahead as Germany grapples with the aftermath of this historic election, the focus now turns to the formation of a new government. Merz's Conservatives face the daunting task of building a coalition that can address the nation's challenges while navigating a deeply divided political landscape. The rise of the far right and the decline of the centre-left underscore the need for a renewed commitment to democratic values and inclusive governance. The election has sent a clear message. Germany is at a crossroads, and the choices made in the coming months will shape the nation's future for years to come. As Merz aptly put it, "I am aware of the responsibility. I am also aware of the scale of the task that now lies ahead of us. I approach it with the utmost respect, and I know that it will not be easy."